Welcome to the Shipless Life podcast. We are your hosts, Ivonne Delaflor
and Séverine Naessens, and we are the founders of the Shipless Life Academy. Join us at sheeplesslife.com for a free and exclusive masterclass on sheepless living.
We created this podcast for women like you, who are ready and eager to live and lead without the herd mentality.
Women who are ready to be, not who your parents told you to be.
Not who the system expects you to be.
Not who the media wants you to be.
But who you can truly become.
So relax, step out of the herd for a moment,
grab something to sip on, and have a pencil at hand just in case you feel the urge to take some notes.
Let's get the show on the road.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is you tune into this podcast, either live or in replay. This is Séverine Naessens from Cancun, and on the other side we have Yvonne Delaflor, and this is podcast number 49 for the Sheepless Life Academy. And today we are going to speak about collective consciousness. Hi Yvonne, how are you?
Hi, Seve. Can you all hear me well? Well, we are not live yet on Instagram or anything, so I hope you can hear me well.
Yes,
I am doing great. I'm excited of the topic that you chose because there's so much misinterpretation and a lot of things that are not true when you come to talk about collective consciousness. So I'm excited that you brought this topic into the table.
Well, yes, I thought we had another topic on the list, but I thought this was a good one to talk about today, since all the happenings in Paris this week with the burning of the roof of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. There's been obviously a lot of media going on, on social media. I've seen a lot of people posting their pictures of when they were at Notre Dame, and I thought that was a weird manifestation of collective consciousness, and that's why I wanted to bring up the topic. So here it is, collective consciousness, because it happens all the time when there's a major disaster, when there's a major international happening, usually bad ones. I think about 9/11, I think about the death of Lady Diana, I think about any other of the terror attacks that have been happening over the last couple decades. There is a collective panic, there's a collective fear, but that is also all connected to the collective consciousness. So that's what I wanted to bring forward today.
Yes, wow, this is such an important topic, because I hope that we trigger some new awareness in some people. Obviously, it's the choice of them, since we're the sheepless, and we understand that any trigger, any reaction, anything that you take personal or not is of your sole choice. And before we start, let me send some shout outs to some of our graduates that we are hoping to bring them soon into the podcast. But one of them is Angelica Diaz. How incredible her message. Angelica Diaz, which, by the way, she's writing such an epic sheepless type book. So incredible, such a powerful faith, in a way, leader. But we send a shout out to one of our Sheepless Life graduates, and that invited us all. And this is from her words, instead of focusing on being afraid or being proud of being the black sheep of the family, why not being the light sheep of the family? Talking about shifting collective consciousness, yes. The collective sheepless consciousness. So just a shout out to her. Another thing that I want to say before we start this conversation, I would love to hear from you, Seve, because you have this level of justice, right? That I want you to convey to them. But the other thing is that we have a great offering right now going on that we chose to extend it. It was going to be till Sunday, Easter Sunday, but because of the Easter vibes and it felt right to our hearts, we're extending the offering of join the academy and bring a sister with you. Kind of like, if your sister and you get together, or a friend of you get together and you say, we both want to join the Sheepless Life Academy, which is a training for leadership of your future and into your future, and helping you to be literally sheepless. Stop being afraid of what people think of you, being radically you, and have tools that learn you to design your futures in all areas of your life. This is the Academy Sheepless Life. So if you both join and you said, and you say, let's join together, maybe you and her can pay 50% each. So literally it's kind of like a 50% off, but just bring your sister in, because really the shipless life is a movement, and the more sovereign shipless light ship, thank you Angelica, women that are in the world, the more free all of our children, all of our relationships, and more light we will bring in this world, that we came here to live fully as who we are. So that's the offering. So you can go to our website, shiplesslifeacademy.com, I believe, or shiplesslife.com. We also have a newsletter that has been delayed, not because we are delayed, but because I am delayed with my system. So this week, the new newsletter is coming up. Séverine, they can sign up now online, right?
Yes, they can sign up online. You can go to our Facebook page, and on the Facebook page, there's a blue button that says sign up. That will take you straight to the sign up page for our brand new newsletter that's coming out one of these days. But before the end of the month, you will have it in your inbox.
Yes, thank you. And that for Séverine to say that she's being very kind with me, because I'm in charge to write that, and she's in charge to, we work as a team. We're a great team together, and so this has been on my side. So bear with us, but you will have the newsletter every 15th of the month, and once a month it comes out.
Yes.
So
around the 15th of the month, we should be sending it out. So it'll be there soon.
Exactly. So those are my shout outs. You can always follow us on this podcast. This is the commercial before the great topic begins. Tan, tan, tan. And the podcast is free. We have one in English, one in Spanish. You can sign up at Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Spreaker, the beauty of it, you will get an automated email message to your email of choice. And you'll get to know when there's a new podcast live, or you will get to the link of the replay too. And this is absolutely free. And you can also download our free masterclass on shiplesslife.com. So that's it for me. So Seve, I love this topic. And I also love, I think your husband, Mr. Emil, that he's one of our shipless men that very soon we're hoping to bring him into the podcast, right?
Yes.
He shared with me this, I saw it, he tagged us in everything, that people were really upset of a big monument on fire, which, I mean, all of us that love art, and all of us that love those things, we felt it's a loss. Yes. It's a cultural loss. But not a lot of people have the same reaction when it comes to people starving from hunger in Africa. So kind of the collective consciousness, requires like a reprioritization of things. So I hand you the microphone.
Thank you. Well, the topic is that the collective consciousness, there was a collective sadness, a collective shock going on when I felt it. I felt shocked when I saw the images of the cathedral burning. It's a place I've been to. It's a place where I grew up close by. Four hours away. So I visited as a child. I visited as a teenager, as an adult. I've been there several times. So, and also it's an iconic place that has a lot of art. It is also a very iconic place for all of those that are raised in Catholicism, because it's one of the main cathedrals, and there's many iconic pieces of art in that cathedral. So it's a very important building. Yes, it is. And I did feel sad for it, and I was kind of afraid that it would totally burn to the ground, and I was relieved to see that it was basically the roof, and that it is repairable, and that they will be able to repair. All of that happened this week, and I've seen many people reacting in the same way, expressing sadness, expressing shock, expressing disbelief, expressing fear somehow that iconic piece of art, that iconic place would disappear. And it would be really, really sad if it did. However, there's a second part to this, and then because of all of that, people started donating money to the French government so that they can start rebuilding the cathedral. Now that is the point that I wanted to. Sorry?
Yes. No, I'm just naming the Cathedral of Notre Dame, because we have we're live on Instagram, just
hi
very
everyone.
quickly. And we have one person that is right now there in Paris, the beloved Leslie
Yes.
Clavillo. And so this is important to name. So just, keep going, Sevi.
Thanks, Ivonne. Now, the thing is that I think it's normal and it is very human to feel, to get emotional over a place, over iconic places like that. The same what happened with the buildings in 9/11 with the Twin Towers. There was a lot of emotion going on. There's a lot of fear going on, and that is a collective consciousness that sets in, that we connect through our emotions. But the thing that shocked us, my husband and I, we came across an article that states that over less than 12 hours, more than 700 million euros have been gathered to restore the Notre Dame Cathedral.
How much?
More than 700 million euros.
700 million euros gathered to restore the roof of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Wow.
More than 300 millions have been donated by two French corporate and business people. Okay, so the thing is there, what happens, like you said before, what happens with the starving children in Africa, or even, we don't even have to go that far. What happens with all the homeless people that live under the bridges in Paris? What happens with all the poor people in Paris? Just Paris. If we just think about Paris, there's so many people that are in need of help around that cathedral. But the importance is that the important thing is that I want to bring out here is that we as humans, as people, tend to pay more attention to a building, to be more generous towards a building than to be generous toward people. And that is something that I was totally shocked about. To see that in less than 12 hours, they gathered such an enormous amount of money. I mean, 700 million euros, or is equivalent to $700 million, that could feed how many kids for a year? How many starving people, how many sick people can you help? How many projects can you fund with that to clean up the mess that we leave on the beaches around the world? How many projects could be funded with that to feed the homeless, or to save some kind, it's one of the animals that are in danger of extinction. I mean, there's so many things that we could do for humanity with that money, but no, it's going to rebuild a roof of an iconic building, and something that I was really shocked about. And I think that something is off with our priorities as humanity, that we spend more time, we spend more energy, and we spend more money on material things than on what really, really matters.
Wow. First, wow. I love that you have the consciousness and the awareness of the priorities of what matters most. But I'm gonna take this now to the meta level. I'm gonna go to the higher states of consciousness of this. Mm-hmm. I love that you're bringing this message. I know that some people may be triggered about this. Some people may be triggered because there may be that defense that this is a cultural monument, right? And monuments, yes. What people like in the psychology of being, the reason people like monuments as such is because they have the ability to live longer on Earth than a human being. Mm-hmm. Just think about the implications of this before really we go into now let's reprioritize, and now let's bring some of that money of restoration of a monument to the restoration of really poverty in humanity. It's a business strategy from people that have chosen, from some of us, like Chick Mormon says, not all of us, so I don't bring mm-hmm. judgment, from some of us that have found the way to do business through the poverty of others. Mm-hmm. Some of us don't do that, but some of us there. Poverty shouldn't exist on Earth. I mean, we have every single resource right now. Look at the beauty of the fire of Notre Dame, which represents in the mystical realm, right? In the mystical thing, there's a lot of conversation in the spiritual communities about how this represents prophecy, how this represents the Isis, the goddess, the mother. But if we took the voice of a mother that went through a fire in her home, and there was abuse being taken place for her children. I think what you just said, Sevi, is what the mother will have spoken. Let me tell you why. Because a mother will not want her children ever to go hungry. Mm-hmm. Does this make sense to those of you who are watching us live? Like the same mother, like if we take it metaphysical aspect, what will Mother Notre Dame will tell us? Yes, Nostradamus did a prophecy. Yes, and we can match any prophecy of the past into right now. We can find every single detail to make like, oh, yes, this is why it's happening. But why will a mother whose house is on fire will do first? It will take her children out of there first, right?
Yes.
You will want your children to be alive. Any mothers here, or anybody that loves someone that is listening live, or please give us your feedback. You will focus on rescuing the child first, right? Right. You will focus on keeping the safety of your family, of bringing food for them. A lot of moms they give their children food first before they can eat. And it's changing a little. The mother is allowing to take self-care of her. But every single aspect that you brought here for our collective consciousness, it is a call for the collective consciousness to reprioritize, to say, what are my priorities? Okay, we have this Notre Dame, it burned. Thanks, it's such a beautiful monument that I even felt the loss. I mean, it was burning, and we did that power imagery process, Seve, that we share every week on the Shipless Life, and it was about the fire of the mother. I was like, okay, this is kind of bizarre, right? I was missing all the comments on Instagram. Oh. Anyways, I was missing all the comments on Instagram. I'm glad that you're on Instagram. I don't know how you are everywhere, Sevi. You really I'm amazed. But we did that video. But now, what will be the voice that Notre Dame wants her children, that our mother, if it was a metaphor that is placing a call for a collective consciousness, it will be like this. It will be exactly this. It will be feed the children. Of those 700, how much do you say? 7 million euros? 700
million euros.
That just right there eradicates hunger in the world.
Yep.
Right there. In NHE, I just didn't announce it live, but I'm supporting right now a woman. I was going to support a woman that is from Mexico, because that's where the path of NHE was going. And my door, where I live, in this place where owls come and animals come, a refugee from Syria, an incredible woman. I'm hoping that very soon I'll bring her to either Shipless Live or NHE. I'm respecting her request of privacy right now. Well, I met her on Whole Foods, and it's walking distance from my house. And she was selling these beautiful embroidered purses from scratches of things that she finds on the trash. Wow. She was not requesting to be hosted. She was not requesting money for free. She's like, I sell you a unique piece for you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't have mine. I'm beautiful. Oh, I wish I could show it live. But the refugees of Syria, for example, of Syria. I'm not even of Syria. Poverty in Africa, poverty in Mexico, poverty in so many places. Building education, all of that. Just even 1 million euros will start the process of ways to recover the economy, of education, of support, of so many people. Like as you said, it's great that Notre Dame was not lost. And the governments are smart. They would not they have every single tool for a fire not to take place. They have every single tool to restore, right? They have every single tool to restore something. But to still leave the homeless under the Tour Eiffel, like the La Torre Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower, to put on jail people. I was just listening to a study that some people, like some countries, are putting people on jail because they don't know where to put them anymore. There's no home. And it's costing the government keeping people on jail because they need to feed them and all of that. So our humanity requires to reprioritize, to see itself as like, what are our priorities? Do we really want to use all of our money to keep building things, to keep kind of exalting the human spirit by things? Or do we want to heal the human spirit by working literally directly with human beings, by making a contribution? With each contribution, like I will have done this. With each contribution, Notre Dame for its restoration and the government of France. Look, take me to the president of France. The government of France. Every dollar donated, another dollar will be donated for the refugees of Syria. I know that Europe has been receiving a lot. Well, we will create, like, I don't know, a center of education or a possibility to build businesses for them to come to share their things. You know, it will be an equal exchange, because you don't want to rescue capable people also of their work, but you build at the same time that you restore a building, that you restore a fire. You listen to the voice of that fire. You listen to that voice of the mother, and okay, let's focus on what really matters. Let's restore the building, and also make of this restoration, make of this fire a way to restore poverty, a way to restore, like, from poverty to the ability to work, from ignorance to education. Let's take $1, like every dollar donated for Notre Dame, half of it will be donated for the refugees, for the orphanages. Just that act will bring balance to the material and the spiritual world, because then we're contributing to all. We're not losing one to keep the other, or losing the other to keep that one. So I think it's just the restoration of values and priorities in the collective consciousness is being requested right now. What do you think, those of you who are live?
Well, thank you for sharing that, your point of view. I think it is very important, and let's hope that Mr. Macron and his people, they end up using that money wisely and putting that also to work in benefit of humanity, not only to restore the magnificence of Notre Dame, but also to really help the people that need it most. But it was quite a shock to see that, and well, let's hope that they put that money to use. Something that also I'd like to share is that there's also great ways of collective consciousness. For example, when there's an equinox or when there's a solstice, people gather, people unite to meditate, people unite to pray, people unite to absorb and share positive energy. So I think that is also important to share, that there's a very positive way of influencing collective consciousness. If we all gather in positive energy, and if we all gather in positive actions, we can also positively affect the collective consciousness, and then make things better. I mean, if there's a dark side, there is the light, and as you shared this morning, earlier on, Angie shared with us that we may be called the light sheep, the light sheep
from the black
instead
sheep
of the black sheep.
The light sheep. Yeah, I mean, darkness is important, because if not, the light doesn't recognize itself.
Yes.
But every tragedy is an opportunity for those who mourn it, for those that grieve the tragedy, to take an action forward into the light. Every tragedy is a womb of darkness. I mean, when we were birthed we were in a womb. The womb was dark. The womb was safe. The womb was where, we were surrounded by the placenta. We didn't have to think about eating or something. It was all delivered to us. And when we're birthed into the light, and then sometimes into the dark, but then we discover our path into the light again. But every tragedy is a call for those of us who feel like there's something not right to do something about it. So hopefully out of this, I know there's the spiritual community is going like wild of like, this is the sign now. Let's go to Egypt. Let's go to I don't know, to Peru. Let's go. Yes, and if you can do the pilgrimages where you can begin to create and design ways that we can begin to promote and support the economy, the consciousness economy, the consciousness of ecology, and the consciousness of, if I help you, we help the whole of humanity, and create proper venues of service and work and education that can help us rise frequency. this humanity has much more hope than what people think it has.
Yes.
This humanity has much more potential and more power than the politics have. Right now, to hand the power only to politics, anyone that feels that there's something going on and you are not doing nothing, it's a disservice to the soul of humanity. So this is a big call for the collective consciousness. This is a big call that not everybody's going to take. Just a few people of the collective may take action, but that's all we need. It's been the history of mankind, and it's been shown that it's only few that take a stance for what many complain and speak of, but they don't do nothing. This is a call, literally. If we're going to use Notre Dame as a spiritual message, it's a call from the mother to feed the children, get out the homeless out of the streets there. Let's create jobs, let's create opportunities, and let's educate. Let's do whatever we can from the corner of the world that we're in, so that today is Notre Dame, right, that it burned. Let's hope that it's not humanity that is burned to the ashes. But then again, the power of humanity and the power of the heart and the power of the ashes, the phoenix always rebirth when there is priorities and clear values in your mind. So, wow,
Absolutely.
what a great topic, Séverine.
Thanks. Well, thank you for sharing this with me. And just one quick comment from Jennifer, I'd like to read to everyone.
Jennifer,
She says, I think the fire is a great rebirth of the structure and of the mindset. Absolutely, I agree with that, Jen. Thank you for commenting on Instagram. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Our time is up for today, but we will very surely come back on consciousness later on in another podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know what your ideas and what your opinions are. You can write to us on Facebook, on Instagram. Also below every single one of the podcasts, we're open for comments and requests. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to this weekly podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Share your thoughts with us on Facebook.com/Sheepless Life Academy and learn firsthand how to live a sheepless life with Ivonne and receive an exclusive in-depth masterclass at sheeplesslife.com.